Hello family on the interwebs. This is Ishita, it's another video, obviously it's Ishita. I am in a dance studio because I'm about to have a dance party here. How amazing is this studio? I get it all to myself. Okay, it's so fantastic, but I wanted to take a minute. I'm gonna shoot a couple videos in here today, and for those of you who are like, brush your hair, Ishita. It's brushed, okay? It's brushed. Not that I give a shit what you people think. Okay, so I'm gonna record a few videos here today, and why am I doing that? I have these videos like in my brain. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and like scribble things down. So I have some notes here, and let's see. Okay, today's video is on a concept that I'm learning in this course called Landmark. A lot of you know I'm taking this course. It's a leadership course called Landmark. Excuse me, it makes you examine your own beliefs, your own stories, and the whole foundation of the work is looking at this one story, which we all have running, all human beings, of looking good and not looking bad. Whoa, that's a big one, right? Looking good and not looking bad. It is the quintessential thing that stops all of us. It's the fear behind rejection, failure, not taking risks, is looking bad and not looking good. And I realized I had this really running. Sorry, I'm still trying to learn how to properly use this thing. Let's do this. I have had this thing running a lot, like a lot. I'm switching to you here because I realize this is where I should be looking. So no matter who you are, we have this belief running. I certainly have it running, had it running, have it running, and working on it. And recently I have been doing things, I've been practicing, just like I tell you guys, look, I try to practice what I preach. I practice what I preach. I try my best to the advice that I'm giving you guys to try to take it myself, implement it. And half the reason I give it to you is because I've usually already tried it in my life and it's working. So I have a few examples here of things that I have really been doing that make me look, it's not make me look bad, but essentially they feel like not the right thing to do because, oh my God, the people mover. Yes. I love seeing it when it goes by. I am so sorry for all the distractions here. I'm very distracted right now by all this scenery. So the things that feel like they'll make you look bad, and so they cause discomfort inside, and they cause you to feel all of these things, like, oh, how will I look? This is about to die right now. As soon as I start filming, this camera is about to die. So anyway, here are some examples of things that I have been doing to, I don't care, right? I don't give a fuck. Like, this is what I need to say to you, or this is how I feel inside, and I'm gonna prioritize feeling relieved and feeling free inside over what might look bad or feel like it looks bad, even if it doesn't actually look bad. So telling the truth. So the first thing is, I have a friend who, I don't even know how to describe it, but he was asking me something and he just made a very benign request to talk. And it's a benign request because there's nothing like super behind it or whatever, but it wasn't feeling right inside for me. And it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't like I didn't want to talk to him at all. I just didn't want to talk to him. That's it. It didn't feel good for me or right for me to say yes to his request to talk. And so, it's not like he's asking me for the moon. It's not like he's asking me to give him a kidney. And so it felt wrong for me to say no to him and tell the truth. But I did. And so, his response that I got back wasn't necessarily, it was fine. He just said, cool. And I said, okay, great. Thanks, appreciate the response. So sometimes what happens is you will feel other people's disapproval, or you will feel their feeling of just, it will just not be the clearest or nicest energy, which is fine. You have to be willing to go through that discomfort. So I felt that response come in and I thought to myself, oh, Ishita, you should have said yes, you should have talked to him. And then I said, no, listen. My intuition is right. I have a lot on my plate. There's lots that I'm doing, and I just genuinely don't want to or feel like I can right now. So that was one. Another thing is, my mom went out of town this weekend, and ordinarily I would like zoom in to go and like spend time with my dad and be home with him and do all this stuff with him. And I realized part of that is like caretaking of my dad. Some of that is like genuine, like wanting to have fun with him. Oh, birds. Wanting to have fun with him and like being there with him and genuinely having a good time. And the other part is like this obligation of, I should go and be with dad while mom is out. Like he can't take care of himself, or I should be there. And I just questioned all of these things about shoulds, and I said to myself, no, I'm not actually gonna do that. And instead I spent time at my house and did what I needed to do and all of these things. And now I'm gonna go there tomorrow and have a great time with him, but without all the shoulds and the obligations. It felt free to me to just do what I wanted and needed to do, not what I felt I should do, right? To look good, to look like a good daughter. Even though no one is looking at me being a good daughter, even him, it's this stuff going on in here about what should happen. Okay, number 3. And this is a really important one because this one fucks with me a lot, which is I had this interaction with this. He's not a homeless man, but I think he was an addict, and it was last week outside this pharmacy where I go pick up my medicines. And I decided to talk to him. I normally do. I talk to homeless people. I used to have a homeless friend. I give them money. Like, I just don't have that much of an issue interacting. But I started talking to him, and it quickly got into like a lot of his story and stuff, and which I didn't have a problem with listening to, of course. And we interacted, and I shared with him, I used to go to Codependence Anonymous meetings and things like that. And then he lived a mile away from my parents' house, and he was like, well, I just live a mile away. And, my instinct would ordinarily be to give him a ride, except for the fact that it just didn't feel right. I didn't think he was dangerous. I didn't think he would do anything necessarily, but it just didn't feel right inside. So all sorts of thoughts went into my head about like, Ishita, it's just a mile away. Ishita, it's raining. It was like snowing. And Ishita, he needs help. He did, genuinely. He was gonna have to walk a mile. Ishita, help him. He's in a shittier situation than you are. And at the same time, all of those things were disrespecting what I genuinely felt inside, which is, I don't have this feeling that I should or want to drive this man home right now, even though it's a mile away. And here we go, people mover. Love it. And my arms are so weak. I can't even hold a camera for 6-7 minutes. I should lift some weights in this gym instead of having a dance party and recording videos. Okay, so I told him, I said, David, thanks for sharing your story with me, and I'm sorry. I wish I could drive you home right now. I can't. And I told him the truth. I said, it just doesn't feel right. To which I'm sure, he didn't say anything. He was very kind. He was very sweet. He said, it's okay, don't worry. Inside it's like, who knows? Maybe he was, or maybe he wasn't thinking it's a mile away. It's right there. Your parents live right there. But I just had to tell him the truth, because here's the deal, you guys. When you are not clear inside yourself, when you are just doing things left, right, and center and leaking out your energy and not speaking your truth, you're going to make the wrong decisions. You're going to make the wrong decisions. So I, in that moment, had to choose. I listened to him. I was very present for like 15 minutes. And it was cold. It was raining. So I had to choose myself in that moment over choosing him, which initially does feel wrong, but I really had to just realize self speaks up. Your self talks to you. Your intuition talks to you. So those are 3 examples. These videos, I try to keep them 5 minutes or less. This one's almost 10 minutes, okay? I think I'll get shorter as I keep doing this because I'm so long-winded. So the moral of the story here is, Speak your truth even if it feels uncomfortable and even if you're going to get disapproval. You have to stop worrying about looking good and not looking bad in order for you to make your life function properly and full of ease instead of it feeling hard all the time. When you don't listen to your intuitive signals, that's when it starts to feel hard because you're just confused all the time. But if you have a strong intuition, or you don't know if you have a strong intuition, but you trust the soft signals that start to arise, like, don't give that homeless man a ride home. Just say no here. Just, don't make that call. Those are the small things that build up to the big intuitive bursts, okay? So stop trying to look good. Don't worry about looking bad. You're gonna look bad. You're going to 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 feel uncomfortable. You're going to get disapproval. You're going to. So don't worry about it. Just keep practicing. It starts to get much easier. Okay, so if you like this video, subscribe. In my first video, I said, don't subscribe. Oh no, I said, don't like it. Like it. I'm gonna invite you to do a couple things. Like this at the bottom. I've now learned where they are. Subscribe. Why? Why not? Ishita, why? Why would you not want to hear this every day? No, I'm just kidding. As if it happens every day. I think I hear the people mover. Like it, subscribe, and share it, okay? If you have people in your life right now who are worried about looking good and screwing things up for themselves, share this with them. Share it, okay? And thanks for listening. I will be back with another video, likely in the same outfit, likely in the same spot. Look out. People mover! Yeah! Okay.